Okay, so we're going to take a look around Google Drive. So Google Drive is where you're going to be storing your files and your folders, things that you've created within Google. The first thing to know is the new button is where you're going to get something new. So we're going to go ahead and click on that, and you'll see here that you can create a new folder. You can upload a file, upload a folder, or create a new Google Docs, Sheets, Slides, and a whole number of other things. So that can all occur just with the new button. We're going to start by creating a new folder. And for right now, I'm just going to leave it as untitled. Typically, you would want to give this folder a title. So I've created my new untitled folder, and we see it here in the lineup. Now, from here, if you right click, you'll see there's a whole lot of different options. The first thing we're going to do is I'm going to rename this folder. I'm just going to call it for now test folder. So I've renamed my folder just with the right click. Now I'm going to go through and change the color of the folder. Color coding the folders is just a great way to visually represent what's there and kind of give you that something to draw your eye to it. We can also add a star to a folder. Now, what that does, you're not going to really see much here in what we call grid view as far as the stars go. However, if you go up to the upper right-hand corner, you have the option to switch over to list view. And from list view, there we go, you can see that that test folder has a star next to it. So again, you have the option between list view and grid view. Personally, I prefer grid, but it's really whatever works for you. So again, if you look at that right click, we also here can remove or delete the folder. And we have some options as far as moving it, sharing it. So I could share this with somebody else by typing in their email address. I could share it with them as either an editor. I could share it with them as someone who could just view or comment on the contents of the folder. So those are some things that you can do there in the share menu. You can also get a specific link to that folder. So when you're looking at get link, make sure you look at who's able to access it. So right now, the link that I would copy, only somebody within the University of the Arts would be able to access it. However, I could change that and make it so that anyone with the link anywhere, or really restrict it so only specific people could access it. So you have a lot of options as far as the share settings go. Let me just put this back. Okay, so let's go into the folder. Once you're in the folder, it's a brand new folder, there's nothing there. But once again, you could go from here and you can start adding things. You could create a new Google Doc. Since I'm in the folder and I'm creating that doc, this is where it's going to appear. So here's my doc. Let's again just call it a test for now. If we go back over to this folder, you'll see there's my test document. Now, I could also put a folder inside of a folder. We call this a subfolder. So now I'm going to create a folder within my folder. If I wanted to move things around, let's say I wanted this test document to actually go in the subfolder, I'll right click, going to hit move to, and now I can choose the subfolder. I could also go back and look at really any of my folders to put it in. So I have plenty of options. Let's go back over to my drive. I'm just going to show you a couple different ways to move files and folders around. So again, let's say I wanted to put this sheet, the copy of Explorer's example, in a folder. I right click, go to move to, and I can decide what folder I want to put it in. The other thing that I can do is over here on the right-hand side, you'll see where it says My Drive. I can open that up, and once again, you'll see those folders, right? So I could just click on this and drag it into a specific folder. And at that point, it's saying, don't forget, you've shared this folder. Are you okay with that? And I'm going to go ahead and hit move. So now when I go into my test folder, you'll see that document that I just moved. So again, that right click menu gives you a lot of options, as well as just dragging things over to this left navigation panel. So looking back here, a couple other things to think about is shortcuts within Google Drive. Now, a shortcut is basically something that's either in more than one spot, or it could also be something that's owned by somebody else. So let's look for an example here. I'm going to go back actually into this test folder. So here's that copy of Explore example. Now let's say I really wanted this in two different folders. Maybe I had two different groups of people it's shared with, or maybe I really just wanted to make sure I didn't ever lose it. So I could go over to this copy of Explore example, push my right click, and go down to Add Shortcut. So when I add the shortcut, once again, it's saying, where do you want to put it? And let's, for now, we'll just put it in this classroom folder. Okay, it's in there. Get this out of the way. Sorry, I need more screen room. There we go. Add the shortcut. So what you're going to see is it's still here in my test folder. Now I'm going to go over to that classroom folder and look, there it is again. But what you'll notice, it has that little curved arrow that's showing me that it's a shortcut. This is not the original. It's just going to lead me back to that original. Another example here, this UArts study group summer, you can see that's a shortcut. Most likely that is owned by somebody else, and it's just linking here within my Google Drive. So hopefully that explains some of the ways that you can navigate around the Google Drive.